All right, so you guys are going to want to have some sort of lovely music playing in the background for you. I'm going to get our inside our own. And let's go ahead and take a seat. We'll start with our breathing, and then we'll jump up and do our moon squats. All right, here we go. So get nice and comfy, sit up nice and tall. We'll just take a normal breath in and a normal breath back out. You guys know the deal here. We're going to breathe in through the nose for the count of 4, back out through an open mouth for a count of 8. Here we go. Inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4. Open mouth, exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Inhale through your nose. 1, 2, 3, 4. Open mouth, exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. One more round. Breathe in for 1, 2, 3, 4. Open mouth, exhale 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then just normal breath in and normal breath back out. Good. Nice. And we'll go ahead and stand up and move, and then we'll come back down and chill. So we'll do 3 sets of 5 moon squats, just like normal. So take your feet open, nice and wide. Here we go. And on your inhale, take your arms up nice and high. Here we go. A little bit of a back bend. Maybe your head falls back slightly. And then on your exhale, squat down low, make fists with your hands, and then cross your forearms, chin comes to chest. Good. And then inhale, press into your heels, squeeze your glutes, and then rise all the way back up. You got it. Exhale and squat down. Remember to cross the other arm on top this time. Give your fists a little squeeze and press your arms gently into one another. And then inhale and stand back up. Good. So a little back bend as you reach your arms up nice and high. And then exhale, squat back down. Good. Chin to chest, you're slightly rounding forward as you come down. And then as you inhale and expand up, find that little bit of opening in the front body. Make sure you squeeze your core. Protect that low back. Exhale, squat back down. Good. One more. Inhale, stand up. And then exhale, squat it back down. Good. Pause here, put your hands on the floor, shake your head out a couple times. Yes and no, side to side. Second set, here we go. Stand it up. So as you bring your arms out and around, you're looking for as much of a range of motion as you can through the shoulders. Exhale and squat it down. Good. Keep going. Bring it up. Arms reach all the way back as they come up. And then exhale, squat down low. You're moving that weight into your heels as you sink low into the hips. Good. Inhale, take it up. And exhale, squat back down. Nice, looking good, nice and smooth, getting a little bit more motion. We got 2 more. Inhale, take it up in this side. Exhale, squat back. Nice. Good. One more time here. Inhale, take it up. Arms way back and around. Good. And then exhale, squat back down. When you get down, pause for a moment. Hands to the floor, shake it out. Good. All right, last set. We'll move it just a little bit faster. Inhale, take it up, find that bend. Exhale, squat it right back down. You sink it back into that chair as you come down. Good. Inhale, take it up. Exhale and squat. Okay, remember you're pressing the forearms into one another and alternating the arms. Good. Inhale, come up. Big reach back, maybe a little deeper back bend as you're coming up in this last set. And squat, big round forward. Inhale, reach and lift. Exhale, sink back down. Good. Here's our last one. Take it up nice and high. Reach, 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 reach. Good. Exhale, round forward. Nice, hands to the floor, shake it out. All right. We're doing hips and hamstrings tonight. We ended these moon squats in our very first pose, which is going to be a passive squat. So lots of modifications and options in a passive squat. If you're feeling great where you are right here, feel free to just stay right here. See if you can lift up for a moment and scoot your feet a little bit farther apart. Ideally, you're looking for roughly a yoga mat width distance between the feet. It's going to be different for everybody. All right, so if that works fine for you, you can stay there. If you need a little assist, you might put a block or a blanket or something underneath your hips to just slightly lift it up. Like I get a lot of pressure in my knees in this pose, and so I need a little bit more support. So I'll often either stick something underneath me or go up to the wall and put my back against the wall. So great options there. We're gonna hold this pose for 5 minutes tonight. As always in this class, I'll give you a little ding from the magic bowl as we hit each minute. That way your nervous system knows what's going on. We can focus on bringing that relaxation in. So that was your first minute already. So as you're setting up here, take a moment to scan through your body and notice if you're holding on to any tension anywhere. Good. Hey, Patty, we're meeting in a passive squat whenever you're ready.
Yeah, I don't know if I can do that. I don't think I can do it with my ankle.
So, Patty, sit up on a block or a chair.
Okay.
And put your legs in that same squat position, or lean your back against the wall. Here's our second minute in. Yeah, Patty, that looks perfect. Okay, so knees open, feet open about a yoga mat width distance. Nice. And then as much as you can, try to keep your weight farther back into the heels. Good. And then remember, we're dropping right into that 4-8 breathing. So you're going to breathe in through your nose for the count of 4, open mouth, exhale for 8. And as you're breathing, you're also relaxing as much as you can on every exhale. We are just past the halfway mark for this pose. So that might be a nice time to play around with maybe making it a little bit more challenging. That could mean heels a little farther apart. That could mean maybe sitting up taller and trying to bring your butt a little bit closer to the floor. That could also mean if you are sitting up on something, maybe you take it down a little bit, right? Good. Keep slow breathing. In for 4 and exhaling for 8. Let your chin fall towards your chest. You can press your hands together if you like. You can also let your hands fall to the floor. That feels all right on your balance. Letting the low back slightly round. We're already to the last minute here. So if you want to make any more adjustments, feel free. Once you feel like you're in the place you want to stick, really focus in on that slow breathing. In for 4, exhaling for 8. And then relaxing anywhere you can in your body. So relax through the neck, through the shoulders. And then wherever you possibly can through the legs, right? There's a lot going on in the legs, but see if you can use as little effort as you can to hold this shape. Remember, we're utilizing the breath and the relaxation to calm the nervous system. Getting into that rest and digest stage. And going to work on that fascia. All right, here we go. That was 5 minutes. We start out with a bang. Ooh, let's take a little movement here. I like to put my hands behind me, kind of shake it out. A down dog might feel actually really good after that. Lots of leg movement. Circle it out, shake it out. All right. Nice job, everybody. We started off with one of my personal challenges, so I hope you guys enjoyed that. We're gonna move next into a nice hamstring stretch. We're gonna come into a seated forward fold. So this is a pretty simple style pose, but there's a couple of things you can do to really help yourself if you're feeling like it's challenging to be here. If your hamstrings are fairly loose already, you might just put a little something soft on your lap and just lean forward. And then support your head here. So you have to fold your blanket or put your block so it's underneath the head a bit. And then just let your arms relax. Good. I'm gonna give you a couple of modifications. If you're feeling great there, feel free to stay. If your hamstrings are feeling extra tight today, it's really nice to sit up on the edge of a blanket. Let your hips fall forward so your pelvis tilts forward, and let that kind of tilt push your upper body down. It'll give your hamstrings a little bit more space to move. Even if your hamstrings don't feel tight, this is still a really nice stretch. Nice. Good. I'm gonna drop right into that 4-8 breathing. I'll walk you through a couple more modifications. Make sure you find that slow breathing as soon as you can. If your knees are hyper extending, meaning you're pushing the joint the opposite direction it's meant to go, you place something underneath the knees. If you don't have anything, you can always just stick your hands underneath your knees. That's a nice stopgap if you need it. We're gonna hold this one for a full 5 minutes as well. And everybody pay attention to your feet for a moment. Usually in a stretching class, when we do this pose, we make you point your toes straight to the sky. In this class, remember, we're being as lazy as we possibly can. So relax your feet. The legs might even spin outward or inward or whichever way, your bone is plugged into your socket. Just let your legs kind of move around and relax. Good, chin to chest. Keep that nice rounded forward motion. We're almost halfway already. So this is a great time to maybe adjust a little bit. Maybe if you've got your upper body supported, you lower the support so it's just a little bit closer to your legs. If you feel like you're mostly just supporting the head, maybe you just move your support farther forward, and that way you have to stretch a little bit more through the hamstrings, but you still get to keep your head in a nice supported position. Keep checking in with the feet. It's a hard thing to remember to keep them relaxed here. Continue with that slow breathing in for 4. Exhaling for 8. You might even start to notice the rhythm of your upper body as you inhale and slightly lift as the chest expands and your lungs expand. And as you exhale, maybe you sink just a little bit deeper into your stretch, almost like you're rocking on a sailboat in the wind. Right, let's hold 5 minutes, nice and slow. Begin to make your way back up. Ooh, lean back, put your hands behind you, bend your knees, and then find a couple of windshield wipers. Twisting motion feels really good if you're feeling a little bit of that sensitivity in your low back. Let's get a little moving going. Good, let's get everybody. Right. We're gonna come into a pigeon pose next. There's lots of modifications for this. So if you got anything in the knee, don't worry, I'll get there in a moment. So we're gonna start here in a half pigeon pose. You're gonna take your front leg, back up just a smidge. Your front leg slightly forward, and then you're gonna walk your back leg all the way back. Let me give you a side view here. So front leg is forward, kind of working your shin towards the top of your mat. For most people, it'll never be parallel, but no worries. Back foot, top of the foot is on the mat. Good. And then oftentimes in a regular yoga class, when you're doing a half pigeon pose, it's all about this rounding forward action, which feels lovely, but you kind of lose the effect of gravity helping us. So instead, we're gonna keep the upper body lifted. So you can put your hands here. You can grab a little support if you need a little height. Grab some blocks underneath the hands. You can always make fists with your hands, and that way your wrists don't have to take so much flexion. Good, timer's already going. So you find the position here that feels good for you, and then hold it. And then relax into it, right? So you're gonna keep upper body up, arms as straight as you can. That'll over time be the easiest way to hold the arms, but still let your chin fall forward, relax your head to your chest. It's already the first minute in. We're gonna hold this one just for 3 minutes on each side. So you're looking for a big stretch in that back hip flexor or the front glute, maybe down into the back of the hamstring on the front leg. Oh yeah, nice, good nods. Everybody okay with the knee here? Give me a quick thumbs up if this is good. Good, okay, great. If at any time that front knee doesn't feel great, you can always roll onto your back and do this pose as like a figure 4 on your back. That would look like this if you need it. Like I said, just 3 minutes here on each side tonight. So you want to push your edge just a little bit more than you do in the longer holds, but still I don't want you to be quite at your max. So somewhere around an 8 out of 10. Like if you could push you a little bit harder, It's there if you needed to, but don't go quite into that. You definitely want to feel it challenging. Good. Here's our last minute. Drop into that slow breathing right away. In for 4. Exhaling for 8. All right, there's 3 minutes already. That feels so fast after holding for 5 minutes, doesn't it? So whatever feels good for you after this, you could take a down dog, you could kick that right leg up, even the left leg up. You could also stay on the ground, just kind of spin your legs around and take a little bit more windshield wiper action. That'll bring some good blood into that front leg. All right, so remember, especially hips and shoulders, they're a little bit different for most people on each side. So as you're making your way into this one, just be cognizant that it might not be the same. All right, so left leg's gonna go forward, right leg's gonna walk back. So you might be a little lower, or maybe you're actually a little bit higher. Maybe that front knee doesn't feel as happy. Remember, you can always roll over onto your back. If your left hip is pretty far off the mat, you might just want to stick something underneath it so the knee doesn't have to take the extra pressure, right? It's all about protecting those joints and making them work for a long time. Good. So setting up your hands, maybe on blocks or on fists, so they're all supported. Straight arms, shoulders back over the hips. The chin can fall forward over the chest. And the whole time you're thinking, can I get more weight into that back hip? There's a bit of a tug of war happening, right? So there's a bit of a back bend, not a bit, this can be quite a lot of a back bend. So just pay attention to make sure that low spine feels okay. If you're feeling it a little too sensitive or a little pinchy, just take some of that curve out of the back by bringing the hands and the upper body slightly more forward. And remember, we're relaxing as much as possible. Back leg is relaxed. See if you can relax through the right quadricep, the front of the thigh. Let that relax. Let your head fall forward. Slow breaths in for 4. Exhaling for 8. We're on the last minute here. Adjust if you like. Maybe you can somehow get the shoulders a little bit more over the hips. Maybe those hips fall a little bit closer to the mat. Maybe you take a little height out from underneath the front hip. Lots of options. Remember, relax the right thigh whenever you get situated. guys, nice and slow, begin to make your way back out. Down dog's pretty nice, or maybe those windshield wiper legs. Ooh, find a little bit of movement. Good, good. All right. Moving into a straddle pose next. We're gonna do this one seated today. So similar to that forward fold that we did. If you like, you can sit up on the edge of a blanket. It'll just give those hamstrings a little bit more space to open up. Be mindful though that if you do lift your hips up here, there is a tendency to hyperextend through the knees, so just watch for that. Good. So you'll take your legs as far open as you can get them. And then start to lean forward. That's it. Something nice here to rest your head on. If you've got a pillow or a blanket, you can kind of hug it. Or one of my favorite things to do actually is to put my forearms down. And then that way I don't feel like I'm reaching with my head and overextending through my low back, but instead I can kind of press down through the elbows and then let the rest of my body just kind of hang forward. That's my favorite way to do it. You can also be up on the edge of a chair or a stool. Yeah, that's right, Patty. There you go. Okay, so we're back to our 5-minute holds here. This one, probably more than anything else we've done today, you'll see those hamstrings release fairly quickly. So you might want to do a little bit more of that checking in, possibly getting a little bit deeper. Good timing to do that's just at every one of the dings. And then that way you can just not have to think about it. Similar to that forward fold, make sure that your feet are relaxed here too. It's very normal to try to point your toes towards the ceiling. Let the toes relax, the ankles relax, and the legs roll whichever direction they want to. Remember that ding is a good opportunity to maybe get a little bit deeper. You lean it farther forward, or move your support just a little bit farther forward. Okay, continue to breathe, nice and slow. Reminder, check in with those legs. Maybe get a little deeper. Maybe stay right where you are. A good thing to notice is if it feels challenging to breathe in this really slow, relaxed way, you're probably in a little bit too deep. So that's also a good thing to watch for. Making sure you're back around 7 out of 10. Especially in these longer holds, give yourself a little bit less intensity so we can stay for the whole 5 minutes. our last minute, everybody. Take a moment to scan your body. Notice if there's anywhere where you're holding on to tension. See if you can let it go. Especially in the face, in the jaw, in the shoulders. Nicely done, everybody. Nice and slow. Use your hands to help lift your upper body up. Ooh, and then use your hands to bend at the knee and move your legs in. Be gentle, be nice. Yeah, good windshield wipers after this. Usually feels great. Hard to do with a blanket though. All right. Next two are two of my favorites. For the next one, you're going to need a block or something roughly the height of a block. You can use something higher if your low back will be okay with that. Or a couple of pillows, and you'll just compress a little bit, but that'll be okay too. Yeah, Patty, I would definitely roll up a couple pillows.
Like that?
You need the density for this next one. We're going to do a block bridge. I'm going to give you a sideways view. My fabulous stiff body Jason will give you that forward view. So we're going to start grabbing your block or your stack of pillows. You're going to walk your heels in as close as you can. Lift your hips up and then slide your block underneath your sacrum on whatever height feels right for you. So I like to start on the middle height. It's not too crazy. We'll be here for a full 5 minutes. You can always adjust this height partway through. Once you've got the block situated in a place that feels fine, right? It's not like digging into your spine. Then start to straighten through your legs. So you're kind of doing this back bend over the top of your block. Perfect.
Oh, that's good.
You got it. So you're feeling this stretch somewhere from the knees to your rib cage. Most people feel the hip flexors, but you might feel a little above that. I often feel it in my core, especially if I've done a lot of core exercises in the last couple days. That's not true for me today, but sometimes it is. Okay. And as a reminder, whenever you're putting any kind of pressure on your neck like this, you don't want to move your head a lot side to side. So looking straight up towards the ceiling is the best position to be in. So in this position, we're really not needing to use much energy to support your body, right? That's what the block is doing. So you can really, truly relax more than you can probably in any other thing we've done tonight. So take a few moments here to scan through your body. Maybe slightly wiggle the toes. Maybe engage your thighs for a moment and then let them go. You might move the shoulders a little bit. It's going to bring a little bit of movement, helps to bring your awareness to that place. And then you can notice more if you're holding tension. It's helpful for you to help keep your mind quiet. You might focus on a sensation in the body. I really love to focus on feeling my belly and my chest expand as I breathe in, and to feel it kind of collapse and relax as I breathe out. If you prefer something that's a little bit less kind of physically based, you might count your breaths. Work your way up to 100. So now that we've been here for a little bit, you might check in with your low back and see, do you want to increase the height? Do you want to decrease the height? Maybe it's a little bit too much and you're having a hard time relaxing. Or maybe you're Goldilocks and you're in the perfect spot and you love it and you don't need any difference. Just check in. And then jump right back into relaxed breathing. Nice and slow, begin to bend one leg and then the other. And then once you've got your heels underneath your knees, squeeze your glutes and then press into your feet and just lift your hips up slightly. Slide that block out from underneath you. And then hug your knees into your chest and roll a little bit side to side. And then with your knees bent, let your feet come back onto the floor. So you're still sort of in that prep for a bridge position. Cross your right leg over your left. And if you can, get a double wrap by crossing your right toes behind the left calf. So your right leg is crossed on top of the left. And you're getting as tight of a grip as you can. You're trying to press your legs tightly together. And then your knees fall off to the right. So your right leg is on top. Knees are going to fall to the right in a twist. And then arms are out, sort of like a capital letter T or straight out.
Goes to the left.
Oh, did I do it wrong? Sorry guys, you're supposed to fall to the left. Right leg on top, knees to the left.
Oh.
Works better this way.
My trusty sister over here is keeping me.
Well, that gets the pack.
Yeah, so you should feel this in kind of a line from the right pec down the right side of your back. A lot of people will feel this in the low back, and then on the outside of the right hip, maybe even down to the IT band on the right leg. Good, so we're just gonna hold here for 3 minutes on each side. So doing your best here is to relax as quickly as possible. Fall right into that 4-8 breathing. And then know that you can always prop yourself up. So if your right knee feels like touching the floor is too far away, maybe you stick a blanket underneath it. Maybe this right arm isn't happy being all the way on the ground. You can also lift the right arm by propping up the elbow. Usually is a good spot to prop up. You'll get a little less intensity in the pec. Last few moments, you guys. You can also play with the placement of your knees. You might move them a little closer to your belly button or maybe farther away. It'll just affect the areas that you feel like you're stretching slightly differently. Unravel your knees. Roll back under your back. Hug your knees in. Maybe you want to take some circles with the knees. If you put your hands on each one of the knees, you can roll them out from side to side. Like the circle really helps to get into that hip joint a bit. All right, here we go. So knees bent, left leg crosses on top the right. Try to get as high of a wrap as you can. And then if possible, tuck your left top of your foot behind the right calf. So left leg is on top. We're gonna drop the knees to the right. That's actually the right direction this time. Good, here we go. Now remember, you can always prop up something underneath the knee. You don't want too much going on in that low back. So if it feels like having knee and arm on the ground together is too much, give it a little support. And then remember, you can always move your knees around a little bit. So you might at this beginning here, kind of shuffle them around, try them a little closer to your belly, a little farther away. And just notice where you feel like you need to stretch the most and stay there. Doing great, everybody. Nice slow breaths in for 4. Exhaling for 8. Noticing if you're holding tension somewhere in your legs where you don't need it, or maybe in your face, in your hands or your toes. Right, you guys, nice and slow. Roll back onto your back. Unravel your legs. Pull them in. Bend circles or side to side. It is time for Hattie's favorite pose. It's tantrum time. Put your toes up towards the ceiling. Hands up. Here we go. Cake and flail. Make some noise. Kick the ground if you want to emphasize it. I love it. Woo. We got 5, 4, a little more, 3, 2, and 1. Woo, let that tantrum go. We'll set up for meditation. So if you need a moment to grab a blanket or anything, do that now.
So good.
It's fun to throw a tantrum. I was leading a mini retreat, was that 2 weekends ago now, and one of the ladies in it was telling us how her husband, like she was just having a moment where she was really upset, and her husband's like, would you like to throw a tantrum? And he held out a baguette and let her just like wail. And he's like, all right, that's enough because I gotta eat that tonight. Just let her beat it up. Sometimes that's the thing to do. All right, here we go. So this meditation is called Sharpening the Mind. So this came from a friend of mine. He's going to share his experience at a meditation retreat. One of the earliest meditation retreats I attended was a 10-day Vipassana retreat. Vipassana is a Buddhist style of meditation where you get super clear about what you're noticing. So you can start to kind of untangle everything. The particular retreat that he went to is taught by a prominent meditation teacher named Goenkaji. Sorry if I'm butchering that. He recorded all of his guidance on cassette tapes before he died. So as you sat in the meditation hall, his disembodied voice would come floating out through the tin can speakers. For the first 3 days of the retreat, all we did was pay attention to the area below our nostrils as a way to sharpen our attention. I found it weirdly enjoyable. It didn't take long before I could notice every tiny prickle of sensation, each nostril hair like a strand of underwater seaweed undulating in the current of my breath. So that's about the weirdest introduction to a meditation technique I've ever given, but who cares? Let's meditate on our nostril hairs. So start by taking a few deep breaths. As you breathe in, stretch a bit through your spine. Imagine that the back of your head is being coiled straight upwards by a spring. And then on the exhale, relax your face and loosen your shoulders. Soften the belly. You can let everything just hang off that central hold of your spine. You're both alert, but you're also relaxed. And then from here, we find our equanimity. Nothing that's happening in your experience is a problem. It's all just sensations, rising, falling, changing. You let all the sounds be there, all the feelings in your body, all the emotions and thoughts. We're aiming for an attitude of smooth, open impartiality. Now begin to zoom in on the soft feeling of the breath as it enters and exits the nose. This is going to be your home base. When you find yourself getting lost in a thought, gently return your attention back, right here. And I should say here, if you don't like working with the breath, that's totally fine. You can choose some other part of the body to get curious about. Maybe it's a tiny surface area, like some tiny area on the surface of your skin. Or maybe the exact place where your hands meet your sides, or whatever they're making contact with. Try this for a bit. One of the tricks to sharpening attention is to get really still in the body. That way, we can notice the most subtle parts of the sensation. Perceive that you can do that now as you breathe and feel this area around your nostrils. When you get distracted, bring your attention back. So we're sharpening attention. The breath is getting softer, more subtle, and so delicate in our attention. It's like we can zoom right into our annoying nostril hairs. Greetings, nostril hairs. Please proceed. This is a practice in concentration. Imagine gathering all parts of your attention into a giant balloon, and then it's like you're boring the end into this one small place. We've sharpened our focus here as a way to sharpen our focus in the rest of our life. Keep going. Excellent. Now let that central focus of your attention just let go and rest for these last few moments. Gon Kaji used to say, if you were patient and diligent, you were bound to be successful. By successful, he meant you were bound to get more concentrated and more focused. You are bound to be successful. Take the peace and the focus we generated here and bring it back into your life. Patiently, diligently, nostril hair by nostril hair. Take a nice deep full breath in, letting your chest and your rib cage expand. And then a slow, luxurious breath back out like you got nowhere to go. And then bring a little movement back, fingers and toes, wrists and ankles. And take your hands together at your heart. Take one more deep breath in together. And a slow exhale back out. The light in me honors, bows, and surrenders to the light within each of you. Namaste.